Hi, I'm OllyBrunton, and I just thought I'd share some of my experience with tail shimming and the Armstrong foil setups. If you're new to foiling, you could probably skip this video. And if you own other brand equipment, this video might not be as helpful, as different brands attach the stabilizers on opposing sides of the fuselage. I'm only offering my experience with the Armstrong foils gear. If you're an intermediate rider or feeling comfortable with your setup and starting to think about upgrading your equipment, then maybe consider this opportunity to learn and experiment with tail shimming as an essential progressive step in your riding. Foiling and hydrodynamics is a very vast topic. My ambition is to help you understand tail shimming in a basic way, despite the reality being the opposite. Before we start shimming, let's look at some basics. How does a foil setup work? Now, the front foil creates some lift, and depending on its design, has varying amounts of drag as it moves through the water. This drag causes the foil setup to drop downward, and so a tail stabilizer counteracts this downward drop with an opposing angle, lifting the foil setup into sustained flight. The tail also, according to design, has varying amounts of drag, which helps us control the foil and lends to its name. So what are shims? The Armstrong foils kits, fuselages and stabilizer wings all ship with red and blue polycarbonate shims. The shims adjust the tail stabilizer angle. The red shims are of a positive 1 degree value, and the blue shims a positive 0.5 degree value. They are inserted with the tail stabilizer and adjust the entire feel of the foil setup. You may be familiar with watching an aircraft take off and land and the effect of the elevators on the tail stabilizer, initiating the lift and descent of the aircraft. Here in this position, you can see the trailing edges up, like negative shimming, and the craft climbs. And with the elevator trailing edge down, positive shimming, the craft descends. Now, shimming your tail stabilizer of your foil setup has much the same effect. If we can isolate the concept of what shims are doing, we can better understand how we can adjust our setups according to our skill, different front foils, or the conditions. Now, I've already mentioned what the front foil and tail stabilizer do in a basic way. Let's build into this some values that we can measure as we change the foil setup using shims. Army shares with us in his technical videos that Armstrong front foils have around 1 degree of positive angle relative to the fuselage. We already know that drag is counteracted with a tail stabilizer set at an opposite angle. In this case for Armstrong, it's -1 as a default with no shims. With a positive 1 degree at the front foil and a -1 degree at the tail, we can see there is a difference of 2 degrees between these values. Army refers to this 2 degrees as the offset between foil and stabilizer. So the default offset for Armstrong foils is 2 degrees and is the best use setting for most riders. Just assemble the foil without shims and go ride. Now, by adding red and blue shims to your tail, we reduce the offset number and change the characteristics of your setup. So what has changed? If we add 1 red shim, we are reducing the tail angle to 0 degrees relative to the fuselage, and we would expect less drag and less lift overall. Pumping may not be as easy, but efficiency and glide is improved, giving a trade-off. This would give a feel of more efficiency and maneuverability of the setup, and give us an offset value of 1 degree between the front foil and tail. If we add another red shim, the front foil angle and tail would be of the same angle, and there would no longer be an offset between them, or a 0 degree offset. This would offer the most efficiency for this foil setup, and it would also offer the loosest, slipperiest feel. Without drag, stabilization is removed, and the foil is difficult to control for some. This being the case, this is why shims are suggested for accomplished riders or intermediates looking to progress in the next step of their riding. In future videos, we will look at how shimming can affect mast placement and also how we can shim between older and newer technology foils. Until then, take care and enjoy yourself on the water. Cheers.